Okay, Judy, the Grand Prix assignments are out.
Yay.
Thank you so much for getting on with me today. I know we had discussed, maybe getting on a little later in the summer, but I'll be honest, Judy, I've been depressed since, the season has ended. I've felt like I have no purpose. I really followed the season so closely. I think I need a new hobby, Judy. And
Yeah.
I just appreciate you getting on with me today. Have you looked at the Grand Prix list yet?
Yes, a little bit because I was watching that other new skating podcast. I think it's called The Skating Session. Yeah, it's called The Skating Session because this guy, Thomas Vu and Tony Wheeler, they have been talking about their new podcast on Figure Skating Universe. So I was thinking, well, I don't have time to keep reading and doing all the research. So let me see what these guys have to say about it first. But I haven't watched the whole podcast yet. So I do
Okay.
know a little bit about it now.
All right. Well, you know a little more than me at this point, but I know today will be a little bit of a shorter live, but I mean, before we start, what have you been up to since I last saw you? I think it's been a little over a month now.
Oh, okay. So I had those Botox-like Xeomin injections into my vocal cords. So that has helped me talk better without all the, raspiness and cracking and wheezing and the vocal tremors. But it does make me feel like I'm kind of like gasping a little bit. It makes it sound like I'm out of breath and tired when I try to talk. So I can't really sing loudly or talk loudly, but at least it's a little bit more fluid, which is good for YouTube. Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of people may know that you have a very popular legal channel as well. And I was on your live last night just as the viewer. It was so much fun. And
Thank
I, I
you.
I wanted to ask, are you getting sick of people saying, "Oh, you sound so much better. You sound so much better." I'm like, you sounded great before too. So I don't know. I
Well,
just
I admit I sounded really terrible in plenty of the videos and live streams and stuff, but I was still plugging along because there was still more news to cover. And that was a case that I'm very, very interested in, the Dan Horkel murder case. So, like you were saying, you feel skating withdrawal when the season ends. But if you have other hobbies, then it's not that bad of withdrawal. So,
well,
just find other things. Oh, and I do have a new skating program that my coach and I just started working on. It's going to be to The Way We Were by Barbara Streisand because
no. Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
song. Yeah, it reminds me of the Donna Adelson Dan Horkel case, but it's a gorgeous song. It's from the 70s, and I didn't want to just skate to classical music again like I did back in 2006 when I was competing all over the place. Now that we can use vocals. So that's what I've been doing skating wise.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited to see that. That'll be so fun. And I feel like it's
Yeah.
serendipity, Judy. I was thrifting yesterday after work just for fun, just to go look around. And I'm gonna send you a picture. I took a photo of The Way We Were, a cover with Barbara Streisand, and it's
Oh,
it's what is it called? A record. So like a big. I'll send you the photo. That's hilarious that you're gonna skate to that. That's a really good movie, by the way. Um,
yeah, yeah, from 1974, so long ago. But of course, the exciting thing is that I'm going to finally start signing up for more skating competitions for adults. So I'm planning to compete at one, which is a ISU Adult Championship that's going to be up in the DC area in October. And then I plan on competing at Eastern Sectionals, which is in York, Pennsylvania next year. And then Nationals is going to be in my old home skating rink, which is the Duluth Ice Forum in Georgia near Atlanta. So I'm very excited to go back to where I used to live and where I used to skate a little bit.
That is
Oh,
so
okay.
exciting. Please take us on your journey with you. I look forward to seeing that, and good luck. That's going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's good to have competitions to motivate you to practice and have something to get excited about, because now I'm excited about getting a new skating dress and, just, well, plus I'm breaking in new skating boots, which are not a dance, I'm sorry. They are the Resport. Yeah, Resport stock skates, which actually feel pretty crappy. They feel like plasticky ski boots practically. And so I was so fed up with them that finally I decided I'm going to get custom boots again. So I started a process with Avanta Boots, which is now based in California. And some of the guys who worked for Klingbeil now work for Avanta, which I think is owned by Charles Sinek. Did you ever hear of Charles Sinek and Handra and Sinek? They were ice dancers.
Yes, that name sounds really familiar. Were they US or is it a different country?
Oh, US. Yes. I think were they pewter medalists? I'm so sorry I haven't looked it up and stuff, but it was pretty cool when I had my scheduled virtual fitting with Will from Avanta, and he like brought the computer or something up to this guy, and he was like, "Hey, do you recognize this person?" I was like, is it Charles Sinek?" So I was like so surprised because I didn't know he's now the owner of the skate boot company. So it's pretty cool. Yeah,
That is
nice to note that my skates are going to be made by someone who really knows skating. Yeah.
yes. And have you gotten the boots yet? Or you said you're going to be
Oh,
breaking?
yeah, it takes forever. That's why I'm still wearing those stock boots that feel really cheap and plasticky, because it could be not until December or January that Avanta finishes these custom boots, and they're also a lot more expensive than my stock ones. They the stock ones were only $283, which at first I was like, wow, it's so cheap. But then later when I got them, I was like, they feel cheap. It's like plasticky soles, it's all
Right.
synthetic. I'm used to nice, good quality leather, custom boots. And so people on the adult skating, figure skating Facebook group were telling me, well, usually if you've already been wearing custom boots, you don't want to go back to stock boots because they don't fit as well. Clearly, they're not made for you specifically. And they also thought that the model that the guy recommended seemed a little bit too low quality compared to what I've been doing and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, that's just the woes of being an adult obsessive skaters, that you have to deal with these equipment issues. So bringing it back to these competitive US skaters, it reminds me of how Jason Brown missed nationals because he said he was having equipment issues, and so I can totally identify with that on a lower level. Yeah.
I
So what
think,
about you? Like, what else are you gonna do since there isn't much skating going on for now?
well, I am in Alyssa Liu world right now. I'm a lunatic, Judy.
Oh,
I,
oh,
Liu, lunatic.
uh-huh.
Not really. I in the off season I was like, oh, I'm gonna take my channel different directions. I want to start interviewing skaters actually too. And then I've just been kind of in a slump. Like I've just been so ready for some news. And that's why this week when I saw that there was some rumblings that the assignments would come out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to Judy. I think it'll be really fun for us to kind of react and take a
Uh-huh.
look. Um,
Okay.
One thing I wanted to note that was kind of sad news. Lindsay Thorngren is going to be nowhere to be seen. I heard
Yeah.
that maybe sort of retired, just kind of focusing on college. So that was a little sad to read this week.
Yeah, I saw that also, that she wasn't on the ISP list. And I mean, I guess it has to be pretty disappointing to have worked so hard her whole entire childhood and teenage years. And I mean, for a while there, she seemed like a real up and comer. She could do triples. I thought she was a beautiful skater, so I didn't really understand why she just couldn't seem to reach the top, but people were saying she had under rotations. Perhaps I didn't really notice them, but I enjoyed her skating. She's just also she was more reserved. So I think people tend to like the more outgoing skaters like Alyssa Liu, who's always smiling and jazzed and peppy and stuff. Whereas Lindsay, she did sometimes seem like she was kind of like focusing real hard and not very happy when she skated. But in terms of technical, what I recall people saying is that she had under rotations. So, yeah, what about you? What were your impressions of her skating?
Yeah, when she first came out, it was kind of her and Isabeau at the same time. And, both these New Jersey skaters, both very artistic. I think Lindsay had beautiful extension. You could tell she was a perfectionist. She would beat herself up, anytime she made a mistake, pretty consistent. But the past couple seasons, she really was overlooked. And, I don't know, people say she got, overlooked by USFS. I mean, I think it's true, but then again, she didn't have super strong results. I think what would be good for her, I'm hoping at some point she'll find the love for it again and maybe just skate for herself and maybe not focus as much on, being an elite level skater. Maybe she could do, I know Karen Chen, I think she does solo dance now. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. Maybe Lindsay could do something like that.
Yeah, because it's really exciting how so many colleges now have figure skating clubs and they have these intercollegiate competitions in addition to nationals. So it's really great to see these very top tier skaters like Karen Chen competing at the college level. It seems like they get to finally feel like part of a team and have that fun, supportive camaraderie from their whole school, as opposed to the cutthroat world of competitive national level skating. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Almost like a second wind, if you will. Um, but
Yeah.
on that note, Judy, should we go ahead and take a look? Are you ready to
Sure.
review the lists?
Yeah. Should I put your document on the screen?
Yes, I think I'm just sharing my screen. Okay,
Oh,
all right. Here we go.
okay.
Without further ado, I hope this is the
Oh,
list. I literally haven't researched, so.
okay.
Okay, here is Grand Prix of France. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, let's take a look here. So in men, Mikhail Selevko, Luka Kanamides, Adam Shauhim-Fa. France has a TBD spot. Nika Agatse, Gabriel Frangipani, Cal Murrah, Tatsuya Suboi, Lucas Britschke, Ilya Malinin, Maxime Naumov, and Andrew Torgashev.
Wow,
Okay.
that sounds exciting. I wish they were competing someplace closer to us so I could watch this competition.
I know. And such a switch up, having Grand Prix France first, that's really exciting. And I know last season, Ilya did the very first two competitions of the season. He did Skate America, Skate Canada back to back. So he's kind of keeping that trend, doing the first Grand Prix of the season. So I really think, let's see, maybe between Ilya and Adam, that's going to be a really nice competition to watch there.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully Adam is fully going to be healed because it still seemed like even when he came back after last year's horrible ankle injury, he just seemed like totally off. It was such a mess seeing him skate this past spring.
Yes, absolutely. And Judy, what do you think about Andrew Torgashev? We didn't mention him in our Worlds review. He did not have a good Worlds after having had a nice fall season. How do you feel? What do you think this Grand Prix season is going to mean for him?
Oh, it's going to be his redemption season after what happened at Worlds. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of his for years before. I think he broke his leg or something years ago, and then he took some time off. So I was afraid he had quit skating. But then lo and behold, he comes back fighting and he's still competitive and doing great in general. So I'm so excited to see him. He really does have that beautiful poise and artistry, and like he cares about his choreography. Plus he's also been working with um, Raphael Arutunian, so that
Yes.
gives me great hope because he's one of the younger guys. So I think he still has a lot of potential. And I'm so excited to see him, as well as Maxime. Everybody's so worried about him. But in the
Yeah.
last public appearances, he seemed to be, you know, mentally okay, at least on camera. And he's been invited to some skating shows, which is wonderful. And I'm so glad that he has the support and the ability to uh, make it a career as a skater or a coach.
Yeah, no, I agree. In women, Judy, we have Amina Kai. She is a junior who is now turning senior, so that'll be exciting. We have
Yeah.
we have Kaori Sakamoto, Ryon Sumiyoshi, Cheon Kim. That's going to be a good matchup. Young Yu, and then from the US, Isabel Levito and Elise Lynn Gracie. Okay.
Yeah, that's so exciting because you know how Young Yu got suspended for a little while because she was
Yes.
accused of taking a nude picture of, was that Hai-Hin Lee or
Yes.
something like that. That's what I read. I don't know what the truth really is, but I thought that was pretty severe to potentially ruin the skater's skating career because she was probably goofing around, and I guess there were some claims of drinking during some sort of skating camp or some sort of skating training thing. Is that what you recall hearing?
I think with Young Yu, it was similar to Hayden. It was something about underage drinking, and yeah, something about they both having younger boyfriends or something. And while I know what they were, the ladies were adults technically, while their boyfriend was younger. I mean, they're still so close in age. I don't know. I think the suspension was quite harsh, and
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why KSF was making such an example of them. So really, really happy that they're back. And I actually made a Young You compilation
Oh,
recently, and goodness, she has so many good programs I forgot about. It'll be so fun to see her here.
yeah, yeah, because I remember paying attention to her when she was just a junior skater and she had some
Mhm.
sort of Pirates of the Caribbean type of program, and she seemed so happy. And I've always enjoyed watching her. I kind of hope she doesn't keep trying the triple axel though, because it's been years. And the last time she was trying triple axel, she could hardly ever land any of them. So I think it's too risky, and I don't even know how old she is now. Um,
I think she's like 22 or something.
what?
Um,
Oh, that's still young. Never mind.
yeah.
Okay.
And
I
Judy,
just feel like she's been around a long time.
I would tend to agree, but then I have Amber Glenn blowing it out of the water last year at 25. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Never say never. They're not in their 30s or 40s, so they're okay. But
Yeah.
um, just to kind of quickly gloss over pairs and dance, I'm loving that we're going to see Stellato Dudek and Deschamps from Canada. Love them. We have Golubeva and Giotopoulos Moore from Australia. I really enjoyed them. Mura and Kihara, current world champions, obviously the favorites. And then Judy, this was speaking of second wind or second careers. We have Audrey Shin switching from women's to pairs last season. They had a bad end of the season, but the beginning was so good. And this is a
Yeah.
pair I'm really excited about.
Yeah. I'm always excited to see them because Balaj, I think he pronounces his last name Naj. The
Naj,
Y
yeah.
is silent. So he skated at the same rink as I did, the Raleigh Iceplex, many years ago when he was just a kid. So we were both part of the skating club of North Carolina. So I always sort of low key followed his skating career. And then I thought, well, what's going on with him? Because he's in his 20s now, maybe even his late 20s. So he kind of had this like second win to his skating career now, um, joining with Audrey Shen, who is a very talented single skater. So I am pretty excited. It was crushing to see them totally fall apart at four continents, I think. Wasn't that the competition where they
Yes.
just kept falling and missing everything? And I think they missed a lift also. Um,
Yes, it was kind of scary. It was towards the end, and she barely got off the ice and yeah, just put her back down. It was hard to watch, but I mean, they hadn't even done a full season. And Judy, one other kind of big news here, we have Fournier Baudry and Cizeron representing France. Cizeron being our world champion from an Olympic champion from 2022, making a new partnership here. A lot of buzz has been about this pair, especially with the Shib Sibs coming back. It'll be really fun to see what they do in ice dance.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of negative things about his team because it seems
Yes.
like Cicerone doesn't even keep in touch with Gabby Papadakis anymore, his former partner. So I don't know. I don't know these people personally, but just based on what I've read about these allegations and stuff, I have a slightly negative feeling about this team. But I'm happy to see how they do, because he's a champion. So how's he going to do with this skater from Canada?
Yes, yes. Well, that is our first Grand Prix of France. Is it okay I go to the next one?
Sure. Yes.
Cup of China from October 24 to 26. Let's take a look. All right, let's start with men. We have Vladimir Litvintsev of Azerbaijan. Daiwei Dai, he's one of my favorites. Boyang Jin, I'm sorry. Daniel Grassel, Shun Sato, Sota Yamamoto, Mikhail Shaidarov, Junhua Cha, Dennis Vasilyev, Camden Polkinen, and first-year senior Jacob Sanchez of the US.
Yay.
Woo!
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I love both Camden and Jacob, but Camden has always been so inconsistent. And now we know he's working full time for Capital One, I think. So it's incredible how he can still train so much and have a full time job. But I'm a little bit more excited about Jacob because he's the young, up and coming skater who has so much speed and presence and huge jumps, huge triple axel. I'm not sure how his quads are, though. Do you know if Jacob has any consistent quad jumps?
I don't think he presented any on the Grand Prix. I believe he's working on a toe or maybe a sow cow.
Mhm.
But my goodness, is he such an athletic performer? He is like a firecracker, a pop of color on the ice. Just such a fun skater to watch. And I was delusional. I thought he'd do well. I thought he'd get to Worlds and Senior Worlds last year. That was not the case.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I'm excited to see what he'll do this year and if he will bring out the quads because obviously, he will need them. He's not a Jason Brown.
Yeah. And speaking of quads, I can't believe Boyang Jin is still competing because he also seems like he's been around forever. Like there's like nobody, hardly anyone else that the Chinese Federation has to offer in men's skating. But the poor guy, like I always wonder if he's suffering from injuries or whatever, but he definitely hasn't been as great with his quad jumps over the last several years. So I do feel kind of sad for him. Although you never know, maybe he'll come back refreshed with his quads intact again. I don't know. It just seems kind of sad when I see him skate, though. Yeah.
I agree. He's had such a tumultuous career. I remember there was a couple seasons where you would kind of like, oh, Boyang, like he would perform spectacularly, that huge quad lutz, and he would be very consistent, and you'd think, oh, he's turning a corner, he's pulling an Amber Glen, and he doesn't, and like you said, I believe it's injury based. I know he's had, I believe he trained at the cricket club for a while, or he might
Yeah.
still, um, but and so I know they're really good at working with like older skaters or more seasoned skaters, but it just hasn't paid off for him. So I'll be very interested to see how he does here.
Mhm.
Um, and Judy, your favorite, the ladies in lavender, will be coming back. Shun Sato. Woo!
Oh,
Hopefully we
geez.
can get another purple shirt.
No. Well, as long as it's not that goofy Prince Charming design from last season. Yeah. But no, seriously, as an athlete, he is amazing. And I think he was totally underscored at that Japan Open. He, I mean, when he lands his quad lutz and stuff, everything just looks so easy and amazing. And He has intense speed. So I'm definitely more excited about seeing Shun Sato than Sota Yamamoto, because I feel like Sota kind of like maxed out his ability already. He just
Yeah.
mainly has a maybe a one consistent quad, and then the rest of his skating is okay, but there's nothing really spectacular about it, or he doesn't seem as fast as other Japanese male skaters like Shun Sato or Kao Miura.
And
Just my opinion. Yeah.
And Judy, in the women, I did not think we were going to see this. We have a showdown between Amber Glenn and Alyssa Liu. I'm actually surprised by this.
Mhm.
I forgot to give my predictions in the beginning, but I did not think we'd see an American women's showdown between the top two. We also have Kimi Rapond of Switzerland, Jia Shin, first year senior, our silver junior world medalist for a number of years in a row,
Yeah.
Heian Lee from Korea, Rinka Watanabe, Hana Yoshida, Rino Matsuke, and Anastasia Gubanova and Yitsu from China, with two to be determined spots. What do you think of this matchup here?
Oh, well, once again, I'm so excited to see this because now we can see how Jia Shin stacks up against the other senior ladies. And Hyan Lee, I thought, well, they all did pretty well last season. I'm not a big fan of any particular one of these Japanese ladies. I think they're all okay, but Kimi Friedpond, um, she's very talented and pretty, but I don't know, she kind of, to me, seems like a stork. So I'm sorry to say that, but it just seems like she's just zipping around like crazy, and she's not as um, elegant and refined as Carolina Costner was. And a lot of times she has a hard time landing her jumps because it seems like she rotates slowly compared to the other ladies. Um, yeah, so I guess I'm most excited to see Amber and Alyssa. Yeah, the two of them have been showing lots of pictures on Instagram of their times being on the Stars on Ice tour and other tours in Japan. So it's great to see the camaraderie, and I really love the way they show all us skating fans what life is like performing and being part of these shows and events. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Judy, I'm sorry, I'm gonna fall off my chair. I'm sorry, Wenjing Shui and Kong. What? Is this
Tong
2025
Han.
or
Yeah.
2026?
Yeah,
What? They're
I
back?
couldn't believe it because I just read about that on Figure Skating Universe. I was like, are you kidding me? Because she was showing, or people were putting up videos of her and that guy. I think his last name was Lee, and they were just becoming a pair within the last year. And people were thinking, well, why would she want to be a pair skater with this guy? Because he was from what people said, he was a pretty bad single skater. And they're like, I can't believe it. What are they going to look like? But what happened? I think maybe the Chinese Federation must have given this guy money or something. Like I
Judy,
thought he
I'm like,
wanted to retire. He was ailing. He was having constant shoulder problems, or maybe worse. What did you hear about that?
I didn't. I didn't. I feel like I'm hyperventilating right now. I'm like, wait, am I looking at 2025?
Oh, okay. So you just saw it now
What?
because you kept
What?
everything a surprise for yourself. Okay.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And that's hard for me. I am online a lot. And then, oh my gosh. Okay. I agree though. I feel like this is a China Skating Federation like setup here, but I'm not mad
Mhm.
about it. My goodness, pairs just got a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And I'll also be really looking forward to see McBeath and Parkman. They got silver at U.S. Nationals this year, um, and I believe they have citizenship issues. So I'm not sure they'll be able to go to uh, the Olympics. So I am hoping they'll
Yeah.
do really well this season and perform good for themselves. But my goodness, I'm in shock still. But
I
looking at
know. That's like, even to me, it's even more shocking than the Shibutanis coming back because pair skating is so physically difficult and dangerous. So if you're like in
exactly.
your 30s I mean, no offense to amazing people like Tiana Stellato, but I thought that Han Song had a lot of injuries, and just looking at them on TV, he's not even that much taller than Wen Jing is. So, you
Right.
get the short guy who's having physical problems, and both of them, I'm just assuming both of them are at least 30, would you think? I don't know, but
Yes,
I,
they
I
are.
thought they already won everything. They got their gold medals and stuff, and perhaps just like a lot of these other skaters, they probably realized that there's not much of a market once you're a retired figure skater. Like how many shows are you going to be asked to perform in, and can you make a good living? Perhaps they miss the spotlight plus the potential financial opportunities while they're being competitive skaters. Now,
Well,
that's
I'm
a
gonna need
surprise.
time to process this. I have to move on because I'm
Okay,
like, I can't
I know
handle
it's
it.
insane.
This
Yeah.
is awesome. Okay, and then in ice dance, my favorite, Smart and Deke. I'm so curious if they're gonna do Dune Part 2. Lopareva and Brissol made a big splash this season, getting I think fifth or sixth at Worlds. And Chalk and Bates, they did Skate America last year. They're not usually good early season skaters, so for them to do the second Grand Prix, that's a little surprising, but good to get their material out there and see. I just cannot wait to see what they're cooking up. Madison Chalk is just a genius with that. Green and Parsons, my personal favorite ice dance team, and Zingas and Kolesnik. So ice dance will be fun.
Okay.
All
Great.
right, are you ready for Skate Canada?
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, go with men. Steven Gogolev, Alexa Rashik, Roman Sadovsky, Alexander Selevko, Kevin Amos, Nika Agatse, Nikolai Memela, Kalmura, Kazuki Tomono, Vladimir Samoilov, Lucas Broussard. Oh, Lucas Broussard is back. And Ilya
Yeah.
Malin. Nice.
hmm
What do you think
Yeah.
about this?
Well, I'm just surprised that Stephen Kokolev is going to compete because it just seemed like he didn't he withdraw from Canadian nationals due to injury. It sounded like in the past he has had back problems, so I was always concerned about him because he's one of those little kid wonder kids that at first I was like, oh my gosh, he has quad jumps and he's a great skater, he's going to win all sorts of stuff, but then he grew so tall and had back problems, I believe. Yeah. So have you followed Stephen?
I apologize. Ever since Patrick Chan, I've my
Oh,
heart has hurt. I haven't been able to really follow Canadian men too much. I followed more Alexa Rashik. I really was impressed with him this season. And then Roman is kind of like the comeback king. So not as much Steven, but so I will be looking forward to seeing him this season as well.
yeah.
Uh, but in women, we have Nina Pinzarone, Sarah Maud Dupuis, Maddie Schizas, one TBD spot, Laura Naki Gutman, Yuna Aoki, Monet Chiba making her first appearance, Ami Nakai again, Asun Yoon, and then from the US, three skaters, Sarah, Isabeau, and Brady. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward mostly to Sarah Everhart because I feel like she was kind of overshadowed and underappreciated last season because she's young and just overshadowed by these better known, slightly older skaters. But her technique is beautiful. She's coached by Ilya Malinen's parents. So she's just like a gorgeous, all around great athlete. So I think if she can just, bring out that performance quality and project a little bit more, I mean, if she still has her great jumps and technique, I think she's the person to watch. Yeah. Who are you looking forward to seeing out of these ladies?
Yeah, to add on about Sarah, I think Sarah has the biggest upswing potential of the American women. I think she has the most to prove because if she can up her components, her tech is already really consistent. She does need like a harder triple triple. She really does like a triple toe, triple toe. She needs to do like a Lutz toe or something. But if she can keep her consistency and up the tech, I think she's a real fight for that third Olympic spot. A lot of people kind of think Alyssa's a lock, and Amber, though, I don't know. I think Amber's season is going to be really important too. If she is messy the first half of the season, I think that'll make USFS think twice. So as long as Amber continues that consistency, that third spot like is pretty much Isabeau's, but I think Sarah could sneak in there. Maybe Brady, but Brady's going to have to be. Brady got like 220 at a competition recently, like in the last 2 months, which is huge. That's like what she was getting in 2019 before all her injuries started. So Brady could do it too, but I think Sarah, as the up and comer, has the upper hand, and it's just going to be so fun to see this shakeout here at Skate Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of tempted to go to Skate Canada, but it's a bit far away though, and I don't
Judy,
know.
like because like I definitively was like, if Skate America is in Lake Placid, like no, I'm not doing this remote weird mountain village. Like no, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And so I did the same thing. I was like, oh, maybe Skate Canada. It's also in some remote little area, and I'm like, why are they doing this? Why are they isolating us? Like, make it accessible. So I agree. I want to go, but I'm like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Do you think the arena is far from the airport?
I'm not sure, but I think I believe you'd have to take 2 flights, and
Oh,
I also think that's kind of a pain, and I don't know, maybe I'm being like, prima donna about it, but I want to be
no.
comfortable.
It's a
So
hassle to travel, especially internationally.
exactly, and that's the other thing is my spouse, is from another country, so right now we're kind of like, maybe we won't travel internationally at the moment. It's not exactly the best time, so yeah. Um, Looking at pairs here, though, we have Laureen and Etienne of Canada, Pereira and Michaud. I really like this pair. Stellato Dudek and Deschamps again. Vipinlaw and Digby from Great Britain had an excellent end of the season. Haza and Bulletin, and Cam and O'Shea from the US. And then in ice dance, we have Gillis and Poirier making their debut for the season. Lajoie and Lagha, one of my personal favorites. Tequila and Versluis, Mrazkova and Mrazek, Van Rensburg and Stefan, Reed and Ambrulevicius, Brady and Somerville, and then the first competition for Carrera and Ponomarenko. Any standouts here in pairs or dance?
Let's see. Well, I'm always excited to see Cam and O'Shea. I think I told you that I took a picture with Danny O'Shea during Worlds at the skating clinic. So yeah, I'm so excited that it seems like he has healed very, very quickly from his, was it an ankle injury or he had a broken foot, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes, it
yeah,
was.
it's like, how can he be healed already? It's crazy, but I think they're slated to perform in some sort of skating show. I'm not sure if it's that what's that skating show? Sun Valley or yeah,
The
there's
Idaho, is
some
that
sort of
Idaho or
show.
Montana or something?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I remember hearing that they are supposed to be performing in a skating show in July. And I couldn't believe it because of the surgery that he had right after Worlds. So who knows? Maybe they're just going to skate around and not try any lifts or any triples or whatever. But good for him for healing quickly. And I think there were some pictures of him on social media where he was walking around and talking about how he was thankful to his medical team and people supporting them and stuff. So I'm always cheering for Cam and O'Shea and, of course, Carrera and Ponomarenko because I remember seeing Anthony's parents compete back in the late 80s. And then I was able to skate on a freestyle session with his parents very briefly at Lake Arrowhead back in 96. So I always kind of watch out for him. And it's like, oh, how's he doing? Even though he has no idea who I am, I'm just a big fan. Yeah.
Aren't
So
we all?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we're just skating nuts. It's like we're willing to pay thousands of dollars and
I
fly
know.
out to watch these competitions and pay out the wazoo for tickets and, you know, like getting up at 4 in the morning to watch some competition in Japan. You know?
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Judy, let's move on to NHK, another always fun competition. Let's see. Okay, Boyoung-jin is back. Francois Pinault of France. Gabriella Frangipani of Italy. Matteo Rizzo. Yuma making his first appearance. Shun Sato. Junhwa Cha. Lucas Britschke. Adam Hagara. Oh, I really liked this skater. He impressed me at Worlds. Jimmy Ma and Andrew Torgashev. So I think Yuma is the obvious frontrunner here. I think this will be easy for him to win.
Well, it seems like Yuma has not been invincible for the last year.
That's
Last
true.
year or two. Yeah. So, but who else could beat him? I don't know. I mean, everybody knows how inconsistent Jimmy and Andrew Torkashev can be. So I'm not really sure. Well, Junhwan Cha is always pretty reliable. It's just too bad it seems like he only has a quad Salchow. So it's
Yeah.
probably between Yuma and Sean for the gold. I'm guessing. Maybe Andrew, if Andrew has really held it together and improves.
Yep, agree with that. In women, oh my gosh, this was one of my questions. Is Luna
Yeah.
coming back? And they're putting her head to head with Nina. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So Luna and Nina, wow. Catherine Medlin Spence, she was the first Canadian woman to win an international competition in like 5 years or something. And I forget which one it was, but she won a competition this year. Um, Anna Paseta, I love her. Wakaba Higuchi, Kaori is back. So Kaori taking a big break in between Grand Prix. Sophia Samaldokina, Young Yu's back. Kimmy Rapond, Sarah and Elise with a showdown. This is going to be a good showdown because to me they're both very strong athletes, with Elise being obviously way less consistent.
Yeah, I hope Elise can pull it together because people had um, so much excitement surrounding her about a year or two ago, and she hasn't really delivered. But maybe the more she has competed at senior level competitions, hopefully she's not as nervous and can be more consistent. Yeah. But I am
Absolutely.
so excited. I'm so excited about Luna. That's who I really want to see.
Oh my gosh, I know she didn't do a single Grand Prix last year. I looked up her stats for last year or the year before. She won Skate America in 2023. She was third in China and second at the Grand Prix final. So, with her being absent all last season, it's going to be so interesting to see not only what she does here, but also how she fares against Nina, because I'm curious how close it'll be between those two. Um,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so you're asking what did Medland Spence win? She won the 2024 CS Warsaw Cup. That's what she won.
okay.
Warsaw Cup. And
I don't,
she was the Canadian bronze medalist.
is Warsaw,
Was
is that Poland?
Yes, Poland.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Shui and Han are back. I did not think I'd be saying that this morning or this afternoon. Like, what in the world? Um,
Can't wait to see them though, but I bet they just started practicing again within the last couple of months because I feel like it was just this spring that I saw a video some Chinese fan had put online showing Wen Jing with that other guy, where they looked pretty good, but it was like, who is this guy that came out of nowhere to skate with the Olympic gold medal champion, but she must love to compete. I think she's sort of like Alanya Savchenko,
oh
who
yeah, yeah.
wanting to compete and compete and compete, and she'll find
Indiana.
her partners if she needs to. Yeah.
Okay, Judy, could you imagine a dinner with Wenjing Shui, Aliona Savchenko, Diana Stellato, and Alexa Kaniram? That would be like a lot of pairs women power. Like that would be crazy. Um,
Yeah.
We're also going to see Pavlova and Sviatchenko, Conti and Machi again, Danilova and Siba, Efimova and Mitrofanov. I think this is their first competition of the season, so choosing to skate a little later. And then Chan and Akira Howe, they did not have a very good end of the season. I will be very interested to see how they do here as well.
Yeah.
Um, Orihara and Pirinen of Finland, Fear and Gibson. I think this is their first competition. Bernard and Fabry, Tanaka and Nishiyama, Yoshida and Morita, Green and Parsons. Oh my gosh, Shibutani and
Yeah.
Shibutani. Oh, and Wolf Kostin and Sarevsky. What do you think about that?
Mhm. Oh, well, I mean, that sounds so exciting to see the Shibutanis coming back. So I'll definitely be watching the competition because, as I've told you, I'm usually not that big of a fan of ice dancing, and typically I don't buy the tickets to watch the ice dance competitions. But but this is so exciting. I can't wait to see what new programs they have and if they still have it. Can they still do their twizzles in perfect unison and stuff? So yeah, so I'm mostly excited to see them in ice dance. Yeah. What
I'm
about
really
you?
excited. I'm really excited about this team, Wolf Kostin and Sarevsky. I really liked their material. So Wolf Kostin used to skate with Karen Chen's brother, Jeffrey, who is now banned, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah.
and then I think Sarevsky used to skate. Basically, I think there was kind of a partner swap type of thing. But nonetheless, Wolf Kostin and Sarevsky are really good. And then I think Shibutani, it's wise to do their first competition a little later in the Grand Prix. And then I believe they're both Japanese Americans. So I think that's
Mhm.
kind of cool for them to do NHK. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Well, let's go. Oh my gosh, it's time for Skate America. Here we go.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm still so pissed off that it's in Lake Placid. I was
I
really
know.
looking forward to going if it were in Arizona. It sounded so convenient to
I
get to
know.
if it were in Tempe or wherever it was going to be potentially. Yeah.
No, I know. I don't get it, USFS, but I never really get them, so that's fine. We have Vladimir Litvinsev, Daiwei Dai, Kevin Amos, Luca Kanamid, Corey Circelli, I don't know him, Daniel Grassel, Nikolai Memela, Kazuki Tomono, he's a showboat skater, Tatsuya Suboi, Mikhail Shaidarov, Jason Brown. I'm surprised. Oh no, Ilya already did two, so Jason Brown. Okay. Huh.
Well, Corey, yeah, I remember noticing Corey when he was competing as a Canadian because he's really from Canada.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know
So
that.
like, yeah, so I was kind of thinking like, geez, I wonder if Corey wishes he had stayed competing in Canada because look at how non-competitive Canadian Nationals was this past season. So I thought, I mean, I don't remember much about his skating, but I just vaguely recall him being a pretty good, nice to watch skater who I guess was not very consistent on his jumps. But I don't know what he's like now. But it's definitely very competitive in Italy, of all places now. So maybe Corey should have just stayed in Canada. So, but
Okay,
I like
Judy,
Nikolai.
I'm a little underwhelmed.
What?
Nikolai, yes, Nikolai. Okay, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Oh, sorry. Okay, in women, we have Leah Serna, Anastasia Gubanova, Lara Naki Gutman, Wakaba Higuchi, she won last year, Rinka Watanabe, Hana Yoshida, Cheon Kim is back. Ooh, Cheon versus Heian. Katerina Kurakova, one of my faves, and then only Alyssa Liu being announced. I'm kind of surprised
Yeah.
by that.
Yeah. That is kind of
That's weird.
strange. Yeah. So I guess they really want to see like who's going to break out from the rest of the pack this fall, to how do people do at smaller competitions like Cranberry Open or whatever else they might be having. Yeah. Let's see. You would think they would just go ahead and put some skaters there. Isn't that strange?
Usually, USFS only leaves one TBD spot. They usually have them fight out at those kind of early challengers. Like, so
Uh-huh.
there's usually two announced right away. I'm like really puzzled by this. Are they My thinking though is they need Alyssa to win. They don't want the world champion to lose on home ice.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking maybe they'll do like maybe like a Star Andrews is always really popular. Maybe okay, is Ava Ziegler coming back or not? I keep like looking online. I keep checking Ava's things. She doesn't post
Yeah.
about skating whatsoever. She's
Yeah.
promising. I kind of feel like she might be done. What do you think?
That's what I think too, because I actually asked on Figure Skating Universe if people knew what was what was going on with her, and nobody seems to definitively know. I kind of wish some people who skated at her rink would chime in or something. But when I looked at her Instagram, she had really nothing about skating for quite a while. And I saw one of her friends had posted some comment saying like, come back, I miss you. So I wonder if that was like a skating friend who used to train with her. I'm just guessing. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of sad that I'm like this old lady, searching
Oh,
on some skater's Instagram to see if she's skating or not. But I care. I liked her
me
skating,
too.
and I was sad to hear that she had surgery, right? Or she had some sort of medical thing that I guess they didn't give details about.
I
But all
think
of
it was her
her,
back. I think it was her back.
oh,
Mhm.
okay, which is terrible because when you do all these jumps, you're going to keep slamming all that pressure onto your back. And if you fall, you're smacking your back on the ice over and over again. So, yeah. So I kind of feel like she probably did stop skating because if she were training hard, wouldn't you think she'd be sort of like showing it off to the world like, hey, I'm healed, I'm back, I just landed my whatever double flip or double axle, you know so it just seemed like she was posting all these trying to be sexy photos, fashion shoot, types of poses, and enjoying
Yeah.
life types of Instagram posts. So yeah, it does give me an impression that she's not skating. Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like it's such a demanding sport. If she doesn't like it or doesn't want to, power to her. It's sad for us as fans, but I'm happy for her if she's doing well and is
Yeah.
just moving on. So that's kind of surprising. In pairs, though, we have Lorene and Etier, Metalkina and Burolava, Hake and Kunko, Mura and Kihara, their second competition, Flores and Wong. I really like this team. Plazas and Fernandez. I believe he had an injury, so it's nice to see them here. And then one TBD, and then Gainish and Shigirev. Um, in dance, La Joie and Lagha, one of my favorite teams. Mrazkova and Mrazek again. Dumajo and Le Mercier. Fragi and Fourneau. Lopareva and Brissot. Becker and Hernandez. Tali and La Fornada. Chalk and Bates. Carrera and Ponomarenko. And one TBD ice dance. So, Skate America, it's honestly, it looks fun. I would love to be there, but I don't know. The matchups don't seem that like demanding or something, but definitely fun. So
How many people are really going to want to buy tickets to see Skate America? I
in a
mean,
remote
it's,
place.
yeah, the location is
Yeah.
terrible. I'm still so annoyed. It's like, geez, I finally have some time and money and the
Yeah.
desire to travel to Skate America. But lo and behold, it has to be in this like remote village that is a 2 hour, 2.5 hour drive during what could be a snowy time because it's close to
I
Thanksgiving. People are
know.
saying there could be
Yes.
snow. Yeah.
Judy, why do I get the feeling, I'm not joking, that it's going to get snowed out? Like I just feel like you said, it's later in the year, and they're choosing a very like snowy, like, tumultuous type of environment. I don't know. I'm just like, okay. Hoping it goes well though, of course. So
Yeah. Hey, can I show something real
yeah.
fast? Okay, let me remove that from the screen. So one person that I think would be so cool if they invited her to Skate America, that would
Mhm.
be Alexa Gasparotto because she has a triple
Yes.
axel now. Yeah.
Yes.
So um Can I try playing this? Hopefully it doesn't give
Yes.
us a copyright claim, but maybe I don't know if I can make sure it's not, has no music. Okay, no music.
Okay.
Whee! Triple axel. Look at that. Did it show up on the screen?
I don't see it.
Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Because it made me go to the Instagram page. So
Oh,
let's look over here. Okay, there she is.
okay, here we go. I think I saw this video too. It's so good.
Yeah, I saw it multiple times when people started talking about it. And
Here we
here
go.
she is again because it keeps repeating. Yeah,
Oh,
so beautiful. I can't believe it. So I hope she gets chosen because
me
usually
too.
don't they want to have some sort of up and comer that can generate
Yeah,
excitement, not just the same skaters we've seen for the last 5 years or whatever it could be. Yeah. So
wonderful idea.
congrats to Alexa.
All right,
Yeah.
Judy, this brings us to our final competition before Grand Prix final. We have a Finlandia trophy with Roman Sadovsky, Mikhail Selevko, one TBD spot, Adam Shauhemfa, Mateo Rizzo, Yuma Kageyama, Sota Yamamoto, Denis Vasilyevs, Andreas Nordebek, Lucas Brassard again, Jason Brown, and Jimmy Ma. So 3 US men. And in women, Luna Hendricks is back, Madeline Skizis, Nina Petrokina, Ida Karhunen, two TBD Finland women, Loreen Schild, Monet Chiba, Rino Matsuke, Rion Sumiyoshi, Amber versus Brady. Anything stick out to you here?
Let's see. Well, oh, we didn't really talk about Dennis, but I was really impressed with Dennis Vasiljev, or however you pronounce his name, at Worlds, because he finally has a consistent quad toe, or is it a quad salchow? Yeah, but his like skating has always been so beautiful, and he's tall, and he has really amazing spins because his coach is Stefan Lampiel, who is the king of spins. So when he finally got his quad jumps consistent, I was like, wow, now he's really made it. So I hope he has a great season. I've always liked watching him also.
Me too. Yeah, I love his skating, and just hope he cooks up something really interesting program wise. I think he's the type of skater who could really pull off that kind of big bombastic style. He's just has a lot of energy, so that'll be very very fun. And let's see, Monet Chiba's back. So in women, I think it'll really be down to, well, actually, Rion Sumiyoshi won the Universiade. She got over 205 points relatively recently, like in January. So I think it'll be interesting to see how she does here too. But obviously, the showdown between the Japanese women is going to be so important in the fall leading up to their nationals. Um, And in pairs, we have Pereira and Michaud, Zhang and Huang, Haza and Volodin, Gallardi and Ambrosini, Nagaoka and Moriguchi, Chechenina and Wozniak, Efimova and Mitrofanov, Cam and O'Shea. That'll be a good showdown between the US pairs there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's great.
And Maya and Alex back for the last Grand Prix of the season, probably hoping to, depending how they do in their first one at NHK, maybe capitalize on a Grand Prix final finish, maybe. Uh, Turkila and Verslis, Martin Deek, and Gillis and Poirier. So Gillis and Poirier will obviously, and Baudry and Fournier Baudry and Cizeron will be back here too. Oh, this is going to be good. Gillis and
Yeah.
Poirier. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Wow.
can't wait to see what kind of costume Paul has this season. Please let it be better than last season. That was crazy
Nothing
and so
backless.
silly. Yeah.
Well,
But
Judy,
you said you didn't mind that costume with the cutout back, the silly burgundy suit with the cutout back.
you know what? The music was kind of strange and the costume matched, so I was okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta rate the costumes at these competitions too. So
Yes, we do.
yeah.
We do. Well, Judy, it's going to be a really good packed Grand Prix season. I think one of our subscribers here said that it's kind of front heavy, which that is what it kind of seemed like. Save for, I think it'll be fun at the end with the Shibutanis and Fournier, Baudry, and Cicerone, but it does seem a little front loaded. So I think also those few couple spots for Skate America are going to be really fun to see who they pick. But what are your thoughts as we look forward?
Well, I sort of wanted to butt in and mention somebody because I had heard about him on Figure Skating Universe, and my coach was actually at this competition recently. It's called the Cardinal Open. And
Oh,
so she saw Lucius Kazanecki skate, and he just shocked everybody because he
wow.
suddenly has a quad toe, triple toe consistent. And
Wow.
so my coach said that he's a very tall skater. So I'm like, wow, that makes it even more impressive. So maybe he's one to watch now because how many male skaters do we have here in the US who have consistent quad jumps?
Yeah,
Not
not
that
many.
many. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So who knows? Maybe they could select Lucius to go and compete at Skate America if they have those spots available.
that would be
Yeah.
really cool. I love the idea of an up and comer, kind of introducing new talent to us. I love that idea. That I'm gonna look him up later. That is a very impressive idea.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I sort of heard about him in the past, but I think it was just the fact that he came out of sort of nowhere
Yeah.
at this small localish or regional skating competition and suddenly wowed everybody with a amazing program with quad jumps and quad toe, triple toe all over the place. So yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is great because we're just thinking that men's US figure skating is really in the gutter. There aren't too many great skaters that can consistently do quads and triple axles. So let's watch Lucius and wish him all the best this season. Yeah.
Agreed, Judy. And before we go, I asked my subscribers this week, what is your favorite jump combination? It could either be or sequence. It could be one you perform yourself. I know you're a skater, or maybe one you like to watch. Mine is a triple loop, triple loop. I had totally forgotten about it, but then one of my subscribers was like, "Oh, triple loop," and I harkened back to Caroline Zhang used to have a really good triple loop. So, Judy, what's your favorite jump combination?
Oh, well, that kind of, I mean, I'm going through all my skating memories, but do you remember Dan Hollander from the late 90s?
No, the name
Oh,
sounds familiar, but no.
are you a skate fan or not? Well, I get the feeling you're younger than I am, so maybe that's why you don't remember Dan Hollander. But I was always so amazed because he could do triple axle, triple loop. So he was like
Oh,
so amazing. There's got to be some YouTube video out there, I hope, where people can still see his jumps. But I had this was back in the days of VCR, so I would record all these skating competitions in the late 90s and watch them repeatedly. So I was just always so amazed when he could do triple axle, triple loop. I'm pretty sure that was the combination. But you guys, if you're a skate fan out there and you remember this, let me know if I'm remembering wrong. But then there wasn't Shepard Clark, didn't he do triple loop? Or he did something with a triple loop. And of course, Tara Lipinski, that's the first person I thought of too, is Tara. But I didn't really like her jumps because
I
I
didn't
think they
like it
just
either.
looked so tiny and eked
Yeah.
out. And yeah, like the height wasn't there. It was just because she was such a small, tiny little girl who could rotate quickly.
Well,
So
and also I think Tara's was under rotated. I'm sorry. I think people would have called it in today's times, honestly.
yeah.
But Caroline Zhang, please, everyone go look her up. She would load that thing up like you would load a gun. Not that I've ever loaded a gun, I'm just saying. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, she would like knock that thing out with full speed, full height, good distance, amplitude. It was so good. Um, highly recommend. But yeah, Judy, thank you so much. I feel a new wind, Judy. I feel so much better. We've talked about skating. I feel like I can last until, the next few months. Hopefully we'll have more news soon. Yes, Caroline, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. She has two daughters now with Grant Hodgstein. I think that's how you
Yeah.
pronounce his name. Yeah, they have these two adorable little girls. So you can
Wait,
see it all on Instagram,
I
for those skating fan stalker type people who want to see like whatever happened to so and so and how's she
um
doing? Yeah.
also
Oh, and
Judy, I think she's
Amber.
also Sherry Zhang's coach too.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because I
Yeah.
do recall seeing Carolyn pretty recently on TV or on the internet as coach. Yeah, so that's great that she's coaching and spreading her skating knowledge to younger generations. Yeah, so it's always great to talk to you, Kelly. We should do this more often.
Yay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you everyone for watching. Those of you watching, I'll have a new video out. It's called Did Alyssa Liu Change Skating Forever? Coming soon. So stick around for that. And thank you so much, Judy. It was so fun watching being with you
Sure.
today.
Great to talk to you. Thank you guys out there for making comments and watching us. Have a
Yes,
great
thank you.
weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.